Let's talk about something that the world often avoids, something whispered about in secret, laughed about behind closed doors, and hidden under the blanket of guilt: masturbation. Yes, that word makes many uncomfortable, but today I want to strip away the shame and bring this conversation into the light. Because if we can't talk about it openly, we'll never understand it. And if we never understand it, we'll continue living in confusion, guilt, and silence. Masturbation, a word that has carried so much weight, judgment, and misunderstanding. For generations, people have been told it's dirty, wrong, or sinful. But the truth is, it's a natural part of human life. Every person, at some point, experiences curiosity about their body. They discover sensations, desires, and urges that are completely human. It's part of the design of who we are. Yet, because of culture, religion, or social shame, we've been taught to bury that truth deep inside. We've been told not to talk about it, not to question it, and certainly not to understand it. But let me tell you something powerful. What you don't understand will control you, and what you understand, you can master. The problem is not that people experience sexual desire. The problem is that most people never learn how to manage it. They let guilt drive them into secrecy, and secrecy drive them into addiction. When something is hidden, it grows roots in the dark, but when you bring it into the light of awareness, it loses its power to control you. So yes, masturbation is normal, but how you handle it determines whether it becomes healthy or harmful. Let's talk about energy. Your sexual energy is not evil, it's creative. It's the same energy that makes you want to connect, to love, to build, to create something meaningful. That same energy can produce life, art, passion, or purpose if you learn how to direct it. When that energy is misused or abused, it becomes destructive. When it's understood and channeled, it becomes powerful. Every great mind, every visionary, every person who ever achieved something extraordinary learned how to control their energy. They didn't let their desires master them. They mastered their desires. And that mastery began with awareness. Masturbation becomes unhealthy when it's no longer about self-understanding but about escape. When people use it to run from loneliness, pain, or rejection, they're not satisfying the body. They're numbing the soul. It becomes a coping mechanism, a temporary fix for a deeper wound. But here's the truth. You can't fill an emotional void with physical pleasure. You can't heal loneliness by touching your body. You heal loneliness by connecting with your purpose, with your dreams, with people who see your worth. When you learn to control your sexual energy, you unlock a level of focus most people never reach. You start to feel alive, motivated, and unstoppable. Because when you are not constantly drained by guilt or overindulgence, your energy returns to you. It flows into your work, your goals, your self-confidence. You stand taller, you think clearer, you feel stronger, you begin to respect yourself more deeply. The goal isn't to shame your desire, it's to understand it. Because discipline isn't about denial, it's about direction. We live in a generation that is drowning in stimulation. Everywhere you turn, your phone, your screen, your feed, there are images, videos, and sounds that trigger desire. It's not just about pleasure anymore, it's about addiction. The more people indulge, the less satisfied they become. Because the body can't find peace in endless repetition, it finds peace in balance. The mind can't rest when it's fed by guilt, it rests when it's guided by understanding. And your soul can't grow when it's trapped in shame. It grows when you forgive yourself and choose awareness over ignorance. So let's get real. You don't need to hate yourself for what you've done. You don't need to live in guilt for being human. But you do need to rise above the habit if it's controlling you. Every time you choose to redirect that energy, you build strength. Every time you choose self-control over impulse, you grow. Every time you feel the urge and remind yourself of your goals, your values, your future, you're not just resisting temptation, you're building power. Because mastery begins in the moments no one sees. You see, the strongest people are not those who never feel temptation. They're the ones who feel it and rise above it. They've learned that their energy is sacred, that it's meant to create, to build, to fuel their dreams, not to be wasted in secrecy. They've learned that guilt doesn't make you pure, it only makes you weaker. Knowledge makes you free, understanding makes you strong, and self control makes you unstoppable. There will be days when you feel weak, days when the urge hits hard, when you feel lonely or bored or anxious, but in that moment, remember this: your feelings don't define you, your choices do. You have the power to choose what kind of person you want to become. You can let your desires use you, or you can use them to push you forward. You can turn your sexual energy into focus, your loneliness into creativity, your frustration into drive. That's what powerful people do. They transform what others waste. Don't let society confuse you. Some will tell you it's wrong, others will tell you it doesn't matter. The truth lies somewhere in between. It's normal, but it's not meant to control your life. It's human, but it must be handled with wisdom. You can't build a strong mind while you're enslaved to temporary pleasure. The same way you train your muscles, you must train your discipline. When you say no to the easy thing, you say yes to the powerful thing. You say yes to your future. You say yes to clarity. You say yes to becoming the best version of yourself. Self-mastery isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about learning to control the fire without letting it burn you. Your sexual desire is that fire. It can warm you or it can destroy you. It depends on how you use it. And every time you practice control, you're learning to handle that fire with strength. You're learning to rise above impulses and live with intention. That's when real confidence is born, not from pleasure, but from power. You are not dirty for feeling desire. You are not broken for being human. You are simply learning how to manage the power inside you. You are learning to balance your emotions, your energy, and your choices. And when you do that, you'll discover a kind of freedom the world rarely talks about, the freedom of self-control. That's when you stop chasing quick satisfaction and start chasing greatness. So yes, masturbation is normal, but that's not where the story ends. The real story begins when you ask yourself, what will I do with this energy? Will you waste it or will you channel it? Will you use it to numb your pain or to build your purpose? The choice is yours, and that choice will shape your destiny. Because every time you overcome a moment of weakness, you're telling the universe, I am ready for more. More strength, more clarity, more growth. You begin to walk differently, think differently, live differently. You start to respect yourself not because of what you avoid, but because of what you conquer. And that's what makes the difference between living in guilt and living in greatness. So stop hiding, stop shaming yourself, stop letting society make you feel small for something that is human. Instead, learn, grow, and rise. Let your mind lead your body, not the other way around. Take control of your energy, redirect it toward your dreams, because when you master yourself, you can master anything. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your urges. You are potential, raw, powerful, untapped potential. And when you finally learn to channel that energy into purpose, you'll look back and realize this. The journey to control your body was really the journey to discover your power. And that's when you'll finally understand. Self-control isn't a prison, it's freedom. And that freedom will take you farther than any pleasure ever could. So let's go deeper, because this is not just about a physical act. It's about emotional and spiritual strength. Every urge you feel is a signal, a message from your body telling you there's energy inside you waiting to be expressed. The problem is that most people never learn what to do with that energy. They waste it, they release it, they escape with it, instead of transforming it. You see, when you feel that powerful desire building up, it's not just lust, it's life energy. It's creativity trying to be born. It's power asking for direction. And if you can learn to harness that, to breathe through it, to rise above it, you'll become unstoppable. The world teaches you how to chase pleasure, but not how to control it. They show you images, they sell you fantasies, but they never teach you self-mastery. Because a distracted mind is a weak mind. A mind lost in instant gratification will never reach its destiny. You cannot climb mountains if you keep tripping over your own habits. You cannot hear the voice of greatness if your mind is trapped in noise. The true warriors of life are not those who conquer others. They are those who conquer themselves. They are those who feel the heat of temptation and still choose purpose over pleasure. There's nothing more powerful than a person who can master their own body. When you can look at desire in the face and say, "You don't control me," that's when you begin to rise. That's when you take your energy and use it to build your future. Because the same fire that burns can also light your path if you know how to hold it. Every time you choose discipline, you rewrite your destiny. Every time you say no to what weakens you, you say yes to what strengthens you. That's how you build character. That's how you build confidence. And listen, don't hate your body. Don't fight it. Learn from it. Your body is not your enemy. Your ignorance is. You can't win a battle you refuse to face. The more you understand your body, the more control you gain over your mind. The more you study your triggers, the stronger you become. Every moment you choose awareness, you grow. Every time you choose patience, you evolve. Self-control is not about fighting your body. It's about leading it. Let me tell you something powerful. Guilt will never change you, but awareness will. Guilt will make you hide. Awareness will make you heal. When you stop seeing yourself as dirty and start seeing yourself as capable of growth, everything changes. You start respecting yourself again. You start treating your energy as sacred, and that's when transformation begins. The real victory is not in never falling. It's in learning to rise stronger every time you do. Don't let society turn this conversation into shame. Because the truth is, silence kills confidence. When you can't talk about something, it controls you. The moment you speak truthfully, you take back your power. You become free from the shadows. You stop living in denial and start living in direction. There's strength in honesty. There's healing in understanding. There's power in balance. Yes, masturbation is normal, but here's the key. Normal doesn't always mean beneficial. Overeating is normal, getting angry is normal, feeling fear is normal, but when you let those things take over, they begin to destroy you. The same is true with sexual energy. It's beautiful, but it's powerful. It demands respect. You don't need to suppress it. You need to guide it. Because energy without direction is chaos, and direction without energy is lifeless. The balance of the two is mastery. When you wake up every day, remind yourself you are energy, you are power. You are not weak for feeling desire, you are human. But your greatness begins when you stop being a slave to what is easy and start chasing what is meaningful. Discipline doesn't mean living without pleasure. It means choosing long-term peace over short-term satisfaction. It means saying, I value my purpose more than my impulses. It means living with control, not confusion. When you begin to master your energy, something changes inside you. You begin to notice that your thoughts are sharper. Your creativity flows faster. Your confidence becomes stronger. You walk into a room and people feel something different about you because power can't be faked. You glow differently when you're not weighed down by guilt. You speak differently when you're aligned with purpose. You start to attract opportunities, ideas, and people that match your new energy. That's what happens when you transform your sexual energy into creative power. You evolve. And yes, there will be moments of weakness. You'll slip. You'll fall. But don't let that define you. Every time you fall, you learn. Every time you rise, you grow. The goal is not to be perfect. It's to be aware. It's to know when to stop, when to breathe, when to redirect. Growth is not about instant change. It's about consistent effort. So if you're struggling right now, don't give up. You're not broken. You're just becoming aware. You're learning to master the most powerful energy within you. That's not failure. That's transformation. You were not born to live in shame. You were born to live in strength. You were not designed to be controlled by impulses. You were designed to direct them toward greatness. The same energy that fuels your desires can build your future, if you let it. So when that urge comes, pause, breathe. Remember who you are. Remember what you're building. Remember that your energy is sacred and your body is your ally, not your prison. Because the truth is, when you conquer yourself, you conquer everything. When you win the war within, the battles outside no longer scare you. When you learn to control your energy, your focus, your attention, that's when you become unshakable. That's when you walk with calm confidence because you know the world no longer controls you. You control you. So, yes, masturbation is normal. But the question is, will you let it rule you or will you rise above it? Will you hide in guilt or will you walk in awareness? Will you waste your power or will you transform it into something greater? The choice is always yours. And the moment you choose control, you choose freedom. The moment you choose purpose, you choose power. The world doesn't need more people lost in pleasure. It needs people awakened by purpose. It needs people who can lead themselves before they lead others. It needs people who can control their desires before they chase their dreams. That's what real success is. Not the absence of temptation, but the presence of discipline. So today, take your power back. Stop apologizing for being human. Stop letting guilt make you small. Learn, grow, and rise. Let your energy work for you, not against you. You are not here to live in shame. You are here to live in strength. You are not here to waste your fire. You are here to direct it toward greatness. And one day, you'll look back and realize this conversation wasn't just about masturbation. It was about mastery. It was about becoming who you were meant to be. It was about learning that the greatest power on earth is not physical, it's mental. It's the power to say, I can, the power to say, I will, and the power to say, I'm in control. Because when you reach that point, when your mind commands and your body follows, you've already won the greatest victory of all, the victory over yourself. Then let's take this to the heart of transformation, to the closing chapter of your awakening. Because this isn't just about desire anymore. It's about purpose, destiny, and the kind of person you're becoming. Every battle you fight inside is preparing you for the victory outside. Every time you conquer an urge, you are not just saying no to a habit, you are saying yes to power. You are saying yes to strength. You are saying yes to the higher version of yourself that refuses to be defined by weakness. Think about this. The world doesn't reward people who are controlled by impulse. It rewards those who have direction. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. You can't inspire others if you are lost within. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and dreamers throughout history all shared one thing in common. They mastered themselves before they mastered the world. They learned to silence the noise within so they could hear the call of greatness. That's the same call that's whispering inside you right now. It's asking you, will you rise above the easy path? Will you use your energy to create, to build, to transform? Your sexual energy is life energy. It's not meant to be wasted. It's meant to be invested. Every drop of that energy carries potential to create something, to imagine something, to move something forward. When you learn to hold it, to guide it, you begin to see your dreams unfold faster. You begin to attract opportunities because your energy becomes magnetic. People feel your focus. They sense your strength. They respect your discipline. Because when a person can control their desires, they can control their destiny. But here's the truth. The battle won't be easy. There will be nights when the temptation feels unbearable, when your mind says just this once, when your body screams louder than your will. Those are the moments that separate the average from the extraordinary. Because anyone can give in, but not everyone can rise up. Anyone can surrender, but not everyone can conquer. True power is built in silence, in struggle, in the unseen battles where no one is watching but your soul. And every time you choose self-control, you build an invisible wall of strength that will protect you for life. When you learn to channel your energy, you become unstoppable. You begin to pour that fire into your vision. You work harder. You think clearer. You move with confidence. You no longer chase pleasure. You chase purpose. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. You stop being lost in fantasy and start building reality. Because you understand that what the world calls pleasure is often just a distraction from potential. But what the disciplined call sacrifice is the seed of greatness. And here's something most people will never tell you. Abstinence is not weakness. It's strength. Control is not lack. It's abundance. When you learn to say no to yourself, you become the kind of person who can say yes to opportunity. Because the universe doesn't give success to those who can't handle power, and power always tests you first. It asks, can you rule yourself before I let you rule anything else? That's why mastering your desires is the first step to mastering your destiny. You don't need to feel guilty about being human. You don't need to feel ashamed for struggling, but you must decide, who do you want to become? Because every time you choose instant gratification, you trade long-term power for short-term pleasure. Every time you give in to the urge, you lose a piece of focus, a piece of fire, a piece of greatness. But every time you rise above it, you gain more than you lose. You gain confidence, you gain clarity, you gain the quiet, unshakable peace that comes from knowing, I control me. The moment you start respecting your energy, your life begins to change. You'll notice your creativity return, your motivation rises, your mental fog clears, your anxiety lessens because your energy is no longer scattered, it's centered. You are no longer divided, you're aligned. You begin to feel alive again, powerful again, focused again, and that's when you realize you were never weak, you were just distracted. This journey of self-control is not about denying who you are. It's about discovering who you can become. It's not about suppressing your desires. It's about mastering your direction. When you learn to hold your energy, you hold your future. When you can delay pleasure, you amplify power. When you can rise above impulse, you unlock genius. Because every great creator, artist, athlete, or visionary learned how to use that same energy, the energy of desire, to fuel their dreams. Let this be your awakening. Let this be the moment you decide to take back control, to no longer be a slave to screens, to urges, to empty habits, to rise into a version of yourself that lives with discipline, focus, and purpose. You were not born to live in cycles of guilt and relief. You were born to live in rhythm with greatness. Your life has meaning. Your body has power. Your mind has potential. And your energy, it's the force that can change everything when you learn to guide it. So, from this moment on, walk with awareness. When temptation comes, don't fear it. Face it. Don't hate it. Harness it. Say to yourself, I am in control. Remind yourself that every urge is simply energy waiting for direction. You can transform it into art, fitness, innovation, vision, or love. The key is choice, and choice is what separates those who drift from those who drive their destiny. You're not meant to live small. You're not meant to live in guilt. You're meant to rise, to create, to inspire, to lead. And it all begins when you take your power back from the very thing that tried to control you. Masturbation may be normal, but greatness is not. Greatness is rare, and rare people do what others won't. They rise where others fall. They master what others ignore. So let this be your turning point. No more hiding, no more shame, no more guilt. From this day forward, let knowledge replace ignorance. Let awareness replace fear. Let self-control replace addiction. And let purpose replace pleasure. Because when you live with purpose, you'll discover something far greater than momentary satisfaction. You'll discover peace. You'll discover strength. You'll discover yourself. You were born with incredible energy. Don't waste it. Shape it. Direct it. Build something with it. Every time you rise above an urge, you add a brick to the foundation of your future. And one day, you'll look back and realize that's how greatness was built. One disciplined choice at a time. So go out there and live with power, live with control, live with awareness. Let your body serve your mind, and your mind serve your destiny. Because the highest form of freedom is not found in pleasure, it's found in mastery. And when you master yourself, you've already conquered the world. Let's bring this to the grand finale, the place where the mind awakens, the soul ignites, and the heart finally understands what true strength feels like. Because at the end of this conversation, this isn't about masturbation anymore. This is about you. It's about the kind of life you want to live, the kind of energy you want to carry, and the kind of legacy you want to leave behind. The truth is, we live in a world that constantly tries to drain you through distraction, temptation, fear, and guilt. Every click, every image, every thought that pulls your focus away from your purpose is a small theft of your power. But when you learn to say no, when you learn to protect your energy, you start to shine differently. You start to glow from within. That glow isn't from pleasure, it's from power. It's from purity of focus. It's from self respect. When you respect yourself, you stop giving yourself away so cheaply. You begin to understand that not everything that feels good is good for you. You start to make choices not based on impulse, but based on intention. You begin to live consciously, not just exist unconsciously. That's the true essence of growth. It's not about running from temptation, it's about understanding it, controlling it, and using it as fuel to rise higher. Your journey won't be perfect. You'll fall. You'll stumble. You'll have moments where you question your strength. But remember this, even when you fall forward. Even when you fail, you learn. Every battle lost inside still teaches you something about who you are. Every urge you overcome adds another layer of strength, another brick in your foundation of mastery. Don't measure your progress by perfection, measure it by persistence. Every time you choose to delay gratification, you are shaping a new identity, one built on discipline, not desire. And slowly, the things that once controlled you begin to lose their grip. You start to see how much time and energy you wasted chasing temporary satisfaction. You start to understand that the real pleasure comes from progress, from seeing yourself evolve, from knowing you are stronger today than you were yesterday. And when that realization hits, something magical happens. You begin to feel peace. Not the shallow peace of escape, but the deep peace of control. You wake up each morning with clarity, not confusion. You walk through life with focus, not frustration. You begin to notice beauty in small things again because your mind is no longer fogged by guilt or addiction. You start to appreciate yourself again, to believe in yourself again, to trust yourself again. That's what true confidence is. It's not built in the mirror, it's built in the mind. It's not in how you look, but in how you live. It's not about suppressing your humanity. It's about mastering your potential. The greatest form of self-love is self-control, because love without discipline becomes weakness and pleasure without purpose becomes emptiness. You were born to rise, to evolve, to lead, to create, not to be consumed by the very impulses that were meant to empower you. Your sexual energy, your desires, your passions, they're not wrong. They're raw material. And raw material only becomes valuable when it's shaped, refined, and directed. That's what you're doing every time you choose awareness. You're refining your energy. You're shaping your destiny. And let me tell you something. There will come a day when you look back on these moments of struggle and you'll smile, because you'll realize that what once tempted you no longer controls you. What once weakened you now strengthens you. What once brought guilt now brings gratitude. Gratitude for how far you've come, how much you've grown, and how much power you've gained. You'll see that this journey was never about denying yourself. It was about discovering yourself. Every urge you overcome is a reminder that you are in control. Every time you choose discipline, you break another chain. Every time you rise above impulse, you reclaim another piece of your freedom. And freedom, real freedom, is the ability to command yourself, to think clearly, to act wisely, and to live intentionally. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are defined by your ability to rise from them. You are not a prisoner of your urges. You are a master of your energy. And from this day forward, promise yourself one thing, that you will no longer live small. You will no longer live under guilt. You will no longer hide from your own power. You will face it, embrace it, and use it to build the life you deserve. Because one day, when you stand at the top of your purpose, when you achieve the goals you once thought impossible, when you inspire others just by the way you live, you'll realize that this journey of self-mastery was the foundation of it all. It taught you patience, resilience, courage, and strength. It taught you how to win the battle that matters most, the battle within. So walk forward with confidence. Walk forward with peace. Walk forward knowing that every step you take away from guilt is a step toward greatness. Remember that the world doesn't change by people who hide their truth. It changes by people who own it, face it, and rise above it. Be that person, be the example, be the light that reminds others that self-control isn't a restriction, it's liberation. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not guilty. You are growing. You are not weak. You are awakening. And this awakening is your turning point. The moment you stop living by impulse and start living by intention. The moment you stop wasting energy and start creating destiny. The moment you stop surviving and start thriving. So take a deep breath. Look at yourself, not with shame, but with strength. You've come this far. You've faced the truth. You've listened. You've learned. Now it's time to live it. From this day forward, hold your head high and walk as someone who owns their energy, who respects their body, and who honors their purpose. Because that's where your true power lies, not in pleasure, but in peace, not in impulse, but in intention, not in secrecy, but in self-mastery. And when your time comes to tell your story, tell it proudly, tell it boldly, tell it as someone who once struggled but refused to stay down. Tell it as someone who turned their weakness into wisdom, their desire into direction, and their shame into strength. Because that's what this journey is really about. Not perfection, but transformation. So let the world say what it wants. Let them laugh. Let them judge. Because one day they'll see your discipline and call it luck. They'll see your peace and call it mystery. They'll see your success and call it destiny. But you'll know the truth. It was mastery. It was control. It was you learning how to take the most misunderstood part of your humanity and turn it into the foundation of your power. And that's when you'll finally understand that the greatest victory of all is not over the world, it's over yourself. Because when you conquer yourself, there is nothing and no one that can ever conquer you again.